Welcome back, and what a delight to have back with us Marc Stein. He's Joni and Friends Vice President of Field Services. And by the way, you can go to joniandfriends.org. And what a delight for us to be airing Joni and Friends radio and television for years and years and years. I think well over 30 years now we've been carrying the program. So we're delighted to partner with them and what they do. Marc, good to see you again. How you doing, my friend?
Doing very well, and thank you for thinking about us when this very important topic has come up.
Unbelievable. You know, we went through this in Oregon, and we lost, and we fought hard. We have doctors-assisted suicide in Oregon. What's happening in California?
Well, as you may know, the California passed that legislation for physician-assisted suicide. It was originally called physician-assisted death. And I guess that didn't land well with a lot of the more progressive thinkers in California, so they changed the name of that legislation. And as of yesterday, we had our first clinic opened up in Berkeley, California, and he says he already has a waiting list.
Unbelievable. What are the requirements there in California? We kind of know what they are here in Oregon, but the biggest disappointment in Oregon is they can do the services, but they don't have to give an account for it.
Well, it's similar here. Basically, if my doctor declines participating in providing me with access to drugs that will end my life, I can go to a specialist who specializes in that, and there's very little oversight in this. It is a very frustrating thing, and as you know, and it's such a slippery slope between this physician-assisted suicide and then others having either power of attorney or, you know, like what's happened in Europe, where there's a duty to die, where family members can actually not only encourage their loved ones, but they can actually help facilitate an early death. If it's too inconvenient, in Belgium they went so far that parents of disabled children up to 18 years of age can end their child's life. It becomes too burdensome or too difficult. So this is a very slippery slope we're on here in the United States right now.
So the California law isn't tied to a terminal illness?
It is. It is. It's very similar in that way, where you have to, it's imminent, death is imminent, that it is a terminal illness, and that your decision to shorten your days is based upon those conditions.
Was there any outcry from the faith community?
A little. There are voices like Joni Eareckson Tada, who is one of the strongest proponents of sanctity of life issues in the Christian community. And there were some, but this kind of slipped through really fast. Actually, my wife, who heads up the Ombudsman program, who advocates for frail elderly in nursing homes, was another one of the strong advocates talking out. And so there was some discussion, but there wasn't an outcry. There was just a little whimper, if you will, from the Christian community.
Unbelievable. Another topic, the newly released film, Me Before You. What's your take?
Well, I tell you, it is so disappointing to see Hollywood glamorizing this type of suicide. And what they did with this movie was they took a wealthy man who had everything going for him. He was in an accident, became a quadriplegic, and created some type of love twist in the movie, and then glamorized his taking his own life at the end, even though there was a love that was there that was so rich and so meaningful. And I can tell you, Joni and Ken have been married 34 years, and they have an amazing marriage. And spiritually, and their connectedness and their inspiration to others, both disabled and typical couples, is countless. So this movie, which has been seen, I don't think it will do great at the box office, but Movie Guide, which is a very conservative review site, calls it abhorrent, and they give it a -4, and basically tell you not to go and see it, or any family members. So it has really created more within folks that care about it, this issue. But we're right on the edge of Hollywood, and we're not hearing a lot about this movie. So I don't think it's going to stay in the box office too long.
The late Pope John Paul, before he passed away, he did quite the sermon, or at least white paper, of the spirit of death that's been unleashed across the country and around the world. And it seems like we are glorifying death. We're enhancing it with all of these various pieces of legislation. Something's happened to us that we are so fascinated with death. I wonder what the psychological twist to all of this is.
Yeah, that's a very good question. I think one of the things that we have to be very cognizant of is that in Nazi Germany, before Nazism really took off, two of their platforms involved this kind of euthanasia, and but at the same time, what they were promoting was animal rights and global ecology issues. Sounds very familiar to what's going on here in the United States. So there's a lot of misdirection about this, and the people that are shouting the loudest for this, this is a culture of death special interest, not too dissimilar from abortionists and those in the abortion industry.
Well, that's where I was going to go with the Planned Parenthood videos being as graphic as they are, and that whole thing got swept under the rug and even refunded by a Republican-controlled House, which is just disgusting. And then here comes euthanasia bills and suicide bills. Whoa, it's scary. Where is this going to go?
Well, this is a flip side of the same coin, isn't it? I mean, what we're doing is we're talking about there's going to come a point in time, just like when a baby is inconvenient, we abort it. When our elderly are no longer useful to society or too much a drain on their kids' inheritance, they are going to help facilitate their death. You know where this is going. It is going to exactly where we were worried about in the first place, and there will be others making decisions for us on life issues. And this is, God numbers our days. No one has the right to take their life in that way. And one of the things that Joni said, and I want to quote it directly because it's so significant. She said, regardless of whether or not the context of marriage, the taking of one's own life or enabling a loved one with a disability to do so is never the answer. All life is created in the image of God, and worth our greatest efforts to preserve and protect. And He alone is the one who should order the length of our days. And I couldn't agree more. This is one of those things where you can't not get involved in this. You cannot stay quiet, because it will start impacting areas of our lives which we may not be looking at right now. And even though it's being tapped down by those saying, oh, this is only about people who have chronic illness, and it is just a short distance to what's going to happen next.
The other thing I'm seeing through all of this, Mark, is it's now setting up a theological conflict. And the whole subject of self-murder and mercy. I don't know if some of the seminaries are going to deal with it, but it does create a whole nother area of discussion within the faith community.
Yes, it does. Mercy and compassion without Jesus leads to entitlement, and this is no different. This is one of those areas, and there are, as we know, liberal universities and seminaries that will actually not only teach this, but find a way to promote it. So this has to be spoken out at, not only from the seminaries and universities that are actually believing what God says and holding to it, but also from our pulpits. This is one of those issues that cannot be left alone. Erosion is silent, and then we will be faced with something even worse than what we have now. So we have to step up. We have to speak up, and we have to not only speak our minds, but as your previous guest was talking about, we have to make the best choices that we can for the upcoming election and our future officials. So, like you said, a Republican Congress passed that refunding of Planned Parenthood. They weren't absent. They were there, and they're our elected representatives. We have some of the burden in that.
No question about it. Well, this whole subject of now in California, physician-assisted suicide, we've had it here in Oregon. We don't know what the numbers are because not all the numbers are being reported, so we have no idea. But getting back to the theological side, of the psychological side, and the emotional side of all of this is an amazing thing. Some will say that those who commit suicide are not in their right mind. But if it's premeditated this far out through a doctor, you kind of wonder about that.
Yeah, I mean, someone who wants, like when Brittany Maynard went up to Oregon to end her life, you can't tell me that was not premeditated. She had to go. She had to change her residence. She had to move up there. She had to make the decision. And I was reading an article today where her husband, her surviving husband, is glorifying it, saying that Brittany would be so happy with this new legislation she wouldn't have had to move from California. I mean, come on! And this is one of those things where you look at and you see the premeditation of it, but we cannot ignore the fact that this is a satanic agenda.
Gotta go,
the agenda of before long, homosexuality, abortion, euthanasia. We're not going to have to worry about them very much because procreation just will not happen.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, you and the team, all of you there at Joni and Friends. We love you guys, pray for you, and thank you for your work. Let's stay in touch, okay?
Thank you so much. Look forward to speaking with you again. God bless.
All right, you too. Again, JoniandFriends.org. Great organization. Go there, check out all the resources, and support them. We'll see you next time on Focus Today.
I'm Paulina Leiser, producer of Focus Today. Thank you for watching this video, and make sure to check our other videos at theDove.us.